Okay, so I'm going to show you how we finish off our prints. So depending on what kind of activity you decided to do, what art project you want to do, you want to mount or mat your work. So that means taking the art and putting a type of frame or something around it. What that does is it makes the art stand out a bit more. This is why we put frames around pictures. It's because it just makes it look finished, more polished. So with this one, because I like the artwork how it is, I'm just going to put a frame of glue and a little in the middle, and I'm just going to place it on a bigger black paper, and I chose black because it ties in nicely with the prints. And I might have to cut these papers to the right size for you. It depends on what we make. Okay, so this is a finished piece. Now it has a nice pretty frame, looks a little more polished. Sometimes when you print, the paper likes to come back up, and sometimes it reactivates some of the ink, so the ink might look a little wet. The glue underneath sometimes does that. I'm not really sure why, but if it comes up, just like set your glue bottle on it, something heavy on it, let it sit until it is ready to go. Okay, so there is one way. So I did that with this one here. But with this one, because the design is fairly simple, I'm going to decorate my frame. So I've already glued it down. And now I'm going to take a crayon, a construction paper crayon, or a white crayon. I chose white to keep with the black and white theme. And I am going to draw here around the design to add a little more interest. Okay, so that just adds a little something. You can color those in or just leave it how it is, whatever you want to design. And it doesn't have to stay with the nature theme. You could have just made a regular kind of border with just pattern. That's totally up to you. This is what I chose to do for this one though. Okay, next, if you just have one print that you want to make look pretty, you can put it on a colored piece of paper that ties in with your print. So the other ones I use black. This one I chose yellow because I can see yellow in my design a little bit. And I thought that would look nice against this orange. And I lay it in the middle. Create that nice pretty frame. And you can even layer this on another piece of paper to add a double frame, which always looks really cool. So to do this, you just have to know what size your paper is, and I can cut a bigger frame for you. So now I'm going to flip this part over, put some glue, and now that makes this simple print a bit more interesting just by embellishing a frame. Next way, so if you have multiple prints that you've done, you can arrange them on a blank sheet of paper. I did have to trim these down a little bit, so I'm actually presenting my ghost prints and my actual prints because I just really like my ghost prints a lot. So I will simply get them all glued. And with this one here, if you're going to do something like this, you want it to look like a window. So a window has a frame, it has a center and a cross, so like a plus sign or the letter T. You want to be able to see this little bit of paper in between here and in between here. So each piece gets its own little frame. Okay? Now these are all having a little trouble staying down, so I'll have to use something to put on it. But that's the idea. If you have multiple prints, you can do it like this. You can mount them all in a line. However you want to do it. If you're just doing two prints, then you'll have a shorter piece of paper, or if you want it vertical, you can go that way. You decide how you want to present your work, but that's another option. And here's another piece, so you can create with multiple prints. So these are my smaller styrofoam prints. And I'm going to glue these like this, so I have them placed out. Okay, and with this frame here, so notice I made the frame very wide. It's a lot bigger because I knew I wanted to decorate it. So I'm going to do a little more printing here, and I'm just going to use stamps. So these are stamps that I have carved. They just have designs on them. We have some real ones, but these probably wouldn't be appropriate. So you just want to kind of dig. I have a few with leaves on them if you want to use those. Or you can just do design, whatever you want to do. But I'm going to add a border to this guy, and I'm going to need to get a piece of paper to put underneath. Alright, and I'm just going to use my ink pad. Okay, so there's another option that adds a really cool effect, adding your own design, printing a bit more, and playing around. So these are all different ways you can present your prints.